lateness. I was trying to get an application working called PenPot, and it failed with a 502 gateway error. All right, let's get started. So today's review, we're going to discuss the open source license called the GPL, or General Public License. Before we begin, quick reminder that every day I host a live stream. So you visit ojambo.com, you go to the watch menu, then the live sub menu, and you can see this topic for today's story is called Review GPL Software License. The channel it's going to be on, the day and time, and these are the topics for future live streams, and the channel they'll be on, and the time. So each of those articles, there will be a snippet at the top of each article to tell you the exact day, the time. It's always going to be Eastern time. And you feel free to talk or request anything related to programming and lifestyle type topics. For example, in this tutorial, we're talking about licenses. That's obviously related to programming and your lifestyle, because you might want to use this license for your software now and in the future, and also for your maybe you work for somebody else. And the live stream is on. You can click the link here. Then you log in and you can ask questions or post your requests, and I'll answer them live. If you don't want to do that, you can simply just watch this video, or you can scroll down, you can watch the embedded video. Okay, with that, also be sure to subscribe, like, and follow, and leave comments for more free. Okay, so let's continue. Oh, that was weird. Okay, let's continue here. So, as I was saying, be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments for more frequent content. I really need to get a microphone so I don't have to use a headset, because every time my phones I have to do this. Okay, so as I was saying, we have here this license was created by Richard Stallman for the GNU project applications in 1989, and the aim was to create a copyleft license that could be used for any project, making it possible for many projects to share code. So what this license does is that it grants users the freedom to run, study, share, and modify software. The copyleft license ensures that any modification or distributions of software will also remain under the GPL. This ensures that software remains free for all users and prevents it from being made proprietary. So if you remember, one of the things we talked about before, something like public domain. So public domain, you can simply take that code and then you could slap, for example, your own proprietary license on it, and that you're able to do that. And you say it's your code. Obviously, if you remove the trademarks and stuff, you're able to do that. The MIT ones, you can also still make it proprietary, but you need to leave the copyright notice for that one. And with this one, the GPL, if you use any part of the GPL, that GPL part still needs to be also GPL. Now, you see sometimes there will be like an exception. For example, like the OpenSSL, that's a permissive license, but they do have a GPL exception. And the reason they have an exception is because, for example, the GNU project, they do have some tools, like for example, I believe GCC used to be their project. They have some other projects which are very popular and people want to use them, but they don't want to write their own tool chain from scratch. So that's how you're able to use this type of licenses. So what I did here is I created a glossary. So this organization, the SPDX, this one here, what they do is it's a software package data exchange. So they have, they basically represent systems with digital components as a bill of materials, a BOM. So what that means is that they have like identifiers for the software license. And then you have another one, which is open source initiative. And then of course, you notice, you see this a lot of times, you see the GNU GPL. And that's the one, that's the GPL, that's this one here, the GNU public license that guarantees users and freedoms to run, share, and modify the software. So you will always say, is it compatible with the GPL? So for example, I'll give you an example. Blender, which is licensed under the GPL, it used to have a game engine. They took it out for maintenance reasons. But a lot of people don't want to use that game engine because if they tweaked it, whatever, all their tweaks and stuff would have to be under the GPL. So they preferred a different license. They also asked the Blender Foundation if they were able to have an exception for that. So that's one of the reasons I said this license might not be for you, depending on what you're doing. Now, if you're in free open source software, that could be fine. So there are 3 versions at the time of this recording in 2025 for the GPL. All of them are copyleft. So you see things like the SPDX identified will say GPA 1 only and 1.0 or later. So that one has been deprecated. Nobody uses this anymore. You still see version 2. For example, the Linux kernel, Git itself, the GNU project, they do use this one. But most likely, most of them also have changed, and it will always say like 2.2 or later. That means that it will automatically grab 3 and 3 or later. And the one that actually do use version 3 will be like the GIMP project. That's a bitmap editor, Ansible, and there are others. I believe Blender itself also uses I think it's version 2 or later, but they're all copyleft license. So the way this license looks like, this is how it looks like. So you notice one thing, it's actually much more, there are much more terms to it than the previous license we reviewed. So for example here, this is a sample. You have to write it like this. You see it says GNU public license. The version, for example, version 3 came out, as you can see here, in 2007. So you add this here, and then you say everyone is permitted to copy and dispute verbatim copies of this license document. By changing it is not allowed. So I'll give you an example here. This is one of the reasons, could be one of the reasons you don't like it. So if you notice here, this looks like it was written way back in the 80s when you only had like 80 characters per line, right? Now, obviously, in my web browser here, this is a 1080 by 1920 screen. Obviously, I also have a 4K somewhere else. You see, I'm not allowed, one of the things I'm not allowed to do is just here in this license, I'm not allowed, for example, to edit this so that, for example, this sentence could easily fit here. You see this part here? And obviously, even this sentence, which actually ends here, it could literally be on one line, so it wraps. I'm not allowed to do that. It has to be verbatim. So it has to stay like this. Now you guys learned something. So this is one of the reasons why, if you ever see a license like this, the GNU public license, why is it always so limited? Why does it take up so much space or height-wise? This is why. Now you know. So there will be a preamble. And it says the GNU public license is a free copyleft license for software and other kinds of work. Licenses for most software and other protocols are designed to take away your freedom to share and change work. So you guys might know this, especially if you guys use proprietary systems, operating systems, for example, like Microsoft Windows or the Apple's Mac OS. Those are both proprietary. You always have to, for example, you have to agree to the EULA. So that basically really takes away your freedoms. So this one doesn't do that. And as you see here, it says, we, the Software Foundation, use the GNU General Public License for most of our software. It applies also to other work released this way by other authors. You can apply it to your programs too. We speak of free software, we're referring to freedom, not price. So that means that, for example, I could release something under this license, and I could still sell it. So meaning that if you want if you want the software, I would you have to pay me. But when I use this license, if you want, I have to put the code somewhere. So if you want to take a look at it, you can. So that means that, like, for example, I can put it on a public repository. Or I can put on my own, so you can look at the code. And then you see here, you have the freedom to distribute copies of the free software and charge them if you wish, right? That you receive the software code. See, that's the key here. You have to receive the software code or can get it if you want. So I said, if I put it in a public repository, you'll be able to get it that way, and you can change the software or use pieces of it in new free programs, and you can do, and that you can do these things. To protect your rights, we need to prevent others from denying you these rights or asking you to surrender the rights. Therefore, you have certain responsibilities if you distribute copies of the software, or if you modify it, responsibilities to respect the freedom of others. For example, if you distribute copies of this program, of such a program, whether gratis or for a fee, you must pass on the recipients the same freedoms that you received. You must make sure that they too receive or can get the source code. And you must show them these terms so that they know their rights. And remember, this one's it's verbatim. Developers that use the GNU GPL protect your rights with these two steps. One, they assert the copyright on the software, and two, offer you this license, giving you legal permissions to copy, distribute, or modify it. For developers and authors protection, the GPL clearly explains that this is no warranty for this free software. For both users and authors' sakes, the GPL requires that modified versions be marked as changed so that their problems will not be attributed erroneously to the authors of the previous versions. So I'll give you an example of this. This is for different licenses. So sometimes, for example, like Debian, the operating system, Linux operating system, because they have their stable version, meaning sometimes they do have a little bit of outdated software. For example, this happened in the past, especially. For example, Firefox, right? So Firefox could be on like maybe two or three versions, and the one in Debian could have been outdated for up to 1 year or more. So they were still calling it Firefox. So for example, so if you download Firefox, say, hey, why am I getting these bugs? Wasn't this fixed? Why, you know what I mean? So that way, that's why it says here you have to make sure. I know Firefox, Mozilla Firefox is a different license. I'm just giving an example of why this clause or this term is important. Some devices are designed to deny users access to install or run modified versions of the software inside them. Although the manufacturer can do so, this is fundamentally incompatible with the aim of protecting users' freedoms to change the software. This systematic pattern of such abuse occurs in areas of products for individuals to use, which is precisely where it is unacceptable. Therefore, we have designed this version of the GPL to prohibit the practice of those products. If these such problems arise substantially in other domains, we stand ready to extend this provision to those domains in future versions of the GPL as needed to protect the freedom of others. So of users. So this is why you see there's version 1, version 2, version 3. So they keep on improving them to ensure that your freedoms as the user or as there will be protected. Finally, every program is threatened constantly by software patents. The states should not allow patents to restrict development and use of software on general purpose computers, but in this those that do so, we wish to avoid the special danger that patents applied to a free program could make it effectively proprietary. To prevent this, the GPL assures that patents cannot be used to render the program non-free. Price terms and falls for copying, distribution, and modification follow. So this is pretty straightforward. Usually these days, it's not so much a problem because most large even the ones for proprietary system, they do release some open source software. So as you can see here, this license refers to version 3. So that's why I chose this one. I didn't want to do version 1 because that's actually, as I said, it's deprecated, and it's version 3. So copyright means copy-like laws that apply to other kinds of works, such as semiconductor masks. The program refers to copyrightable work licensed under this license. Each license is addressed to you, licensees, and recipients may be individuals or organizations. To modify a work means to copy or adapt all or part of the work in a fashion requiring copyright permission. Other than making an exact copy, the resulting work is called a modified version of the earlier work or work based on earlier work. So for example, if I find code, here's the thing. I didn't know this until I started programming seriously as a business, is that, you know, when you go to a website like a blog, for example, like mine, you find code, right? You copy that code and you use it. Now, in the United States, there's already implied a copyright to that, even if it doesn't mention it anywhere. So in other countries, that doesn't apply, although the US has been putting pressure on other countries to do that. So for example, if I put a code out there and I say it's it's under the GPL here, somebody can't take that code and then put it in some program and modify it, put it in a code and sell it without first of all putting the same license if it's using the GPL, and also providing the code. For example, myself or you, if you want to look at that code, you'll be able to take a look at it. And the covered work means either the unmodified program or work based on the program. To propagate a work means to do anything with it without permission would make you directly or secondarily liable for infringement under the applicable copyright law. So there have been some problems with this where some companies, probably in countries where they don't really have good, I think like some Chinese software companies, they will take code, modify it, and then they will all try to obfuscate it, and people would find out, hey, that's under the GPL, so they need to release that code. Okay, and means to convey a work means any kind of propagation that enables other parties to make or receive copies. Mere interaction with the user through a computer work or with no transfer or copy is not conveying. So this means that you need to you can't say, hey, if you want to see the code, send me an email, right? You have to actually make it a place where people can just go and get it without having to say, okay, you're special, you can look at it. You're not special, you can't look at it. So an interactive user, oh, this is taking way too long. So I want to, basically, it's taking way longer than, so you can go read it yourself. I'll have it all here. It's actually, I thought it would be much, yeah. So there are permissions here, protecting the user's right. I think I've summarized this pretty well. You can see the W11 of Article 11 of the WIPO Copyright Treaty, adopted on 20 December 1996, or similar prohibiting laws or restrictions prevent such measures. So basically, as I mentioned earlier, and you saw right in this document, is that the software, this foundation, Free Software Foundation, is against software patents. I personally don't have I don't have a position, because a lot of my clients, they do want to have the patent on their software, which is I'm not going to make fun of them, but because it's usually from derived work, and they don't understand why they can't put software licenses. So this is one reason for that. And verbatim copies, I remember I mentioned this earlier, you may convey verbatim copies of the program source code as you receive it in any medium, provided that you conspicuously and appropriately publish on each copy an appropriate copyright notice. Keep intact all notices stating that this license and any non-permissive terms added in accordance with Section 7 apply to the code. Keep intact all notices of the absence any warranty, and give all recipients a copy of this license along with the program. So that's what I'm saying. You're not allowed to change this license. So for example, remember when we did the MIT license, people could tweak it and say it's based on this, and so this one, as you can tell, it's not. You can't do that. So then here it gets into more details about how to convey the source code, the non-source code forms, and the user product. Yeah, it's very detailed here. Remember, this is version 3. And I see it goes down, 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 down. And yeah, so it goes down so quite a lot. As I said, I don't want to, I know patents here. So this is another thing that's patents. So you see a contributor is a copyright holder and who authorizes use under this license of program or work under which the program is based. The work last license is called the contributor's contributed version. And then it talks about the patents. And each computer grants you a non-exclusive worldwide royalty-free patent license under the contributor's essential patent claims to make, use, sell, offer for sale, import, and otherwise run or modify, propagate the contents of each contributor version. So as I said, if I take a piece of software, for example, if I take Blender, I tweak it, and then let's say I sell it as Super 3D, right? So I would need to put not just the Blender's code, which I modified, but also my modifications, and I have to release that under the GPL. Okay, and as you can see here, this goes down quite a bit, and this is the limits of the liability and the end of terms and conditions, and the copyright notice down here. I say there's a lot, so I had to even actually make this scrollable because so much stuff. So we can summarize this up simply that does it allow commercial use? Yes, remember that means you can sell it. Obviously distribution, yes. Modification, yes. Patent use and private use, so those are permission it does allow. The conditions that you must disclose the source code, you must include it. You must have the license and copyright notice must be included. Basically, this document must be included. The same license must be included. So if you create your own, basically it has to be the same as the GPL. And state the changes that you have made. So you have to include that as well. So the limitations, obviously there's no liability, there's no warranty. And this is the logo I got for the Free Software Foundation. And as you can see, this is why I always put this license for the software. So if you guys decide if you want to use it or not. So I usually put this in all my articles depending on the application I'm using. So the GPL license, the open source license, the Copyleft license comes with the strict rules and requirements to ensure the software remains free and open source. It allows commercial use, modification, distribution, and makes derivatives proprietary. Consult the license for more specific details. So, okay, so with that, if you guys have any questions about this license or what license to use, that's up to you. So if you're starting out, I would recommend, if you want to start like a project, a public project, and you want to know what license to use, it depends. Most if it's a gaming type thing, they usually prefer a permissive license. But if you're doing something like, if it's like a design software, any other type of software, developers usually prefer, and end users don't mind, so you can use any license you want. You could probably use the GPL. So this way, if people tweak it, whatever, the code will go back, will come back. But I'm saying you're free, obviously, to pick whatever license you want. It's just that, yes, for example, like I said, like a game engine, because maybe the logic editor, those type of things, some of the code, people prefer it to be MIT because they think their code is so special. But I say when you're doing something like this, like a design software, web browser, those type of things, it doesn't, you can pick whatever you want. You can, there's another option too. Remember, there's also public domain. That's another option. Or you can make up your own license. But this is a free one, so you can see they have protection, so you don't have to, if you try to make one for yourself from scratch, you will need to maybe speak to a lawyer and to see how you can protect it. But this one, you have protection built in if you pick one of these licenses. Okay, so checking the chat, there's no chat requests, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I think I'll end this here. And just to let you know that I do have a live stream every single day. Usually I do some coding, so stuff like this, like what we're doing today, a review type thing is rare, but if they're popular, I'll continue doing them. So the live stream is on ojambo.com. You go to the watch menu, live sub menu, then you can see the current topic and topics for future live streams. Be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments for more frequent content. And if you enjoyed this, you should consider supporting me. You can purchase one of my WordPress plugins at ojambo.com. You can enroll my programming courses at ojamboshop.com. And you can also buy my programming books on Amazon. I've just released this Master Blender Python API. There's a paperback version and ebook version on Amazon. Search for Edward Ojambo, links in the description. And you can also hire me for all your programming and app development needs at ojamboservices.com. Or you can also become a donor at ojambo.com/donate. The donate button is also up here in the fixed header. Okay, so I'm going to end this now and see you guys in the next one. Thanks again. See you soon.